All right, everyone, it's time for a studio tour, and thanks to those of you who told me what you wanted to see. A couple of you asked to really look at some software stuff, plugins and VSTs and all that, and I am not going to do that this time because I feel like that could be a whole video by itself in the future, and we can do that. And there will be plenty to talk about aside from that as well. So I'm going to turn the camera around and get you started. Here we go. All right, we start looking outside at the truck and the sky and the trees and the chickens way out there. This is where I live. This is the garage the studio's in. Most important thing, beer fridge. Right outside the door. No problem. Heck yeah. And this is the door. We got two doors. Live room door and control room door. And some vinyl that I don't know what to do with. Here we go. All right. So, I mean, you guys know roughly what it looks like, I think, in here. Let's see, where to start. Lots of panels. We've got, they're all 2x4, 3 inches thick, except for the corners. These are 6 inches thick, so there's two pieces of the insulation in here, which is, actually I shouldn't have come in here yet. This stuff right here is the insulation I use. I've got some more that I'm planning on building more panels with. Rockwool Safe and Sound. So that's what's in there. And oh, there's all my cases for stuff. So yeah, the corners are 6 inches thick. Everything else is 2. We've got stuff on the ceiling that's relatively new. I do want to keep extending this stuff on the corners here. So I want to do, obviously, keep going along this this little edge here. Couch, chair, secret Chase Bliss pedal that you can't know about yet. I've got a tape machine here that doesn't work. It was given to me by the kind folks at Music Around. I just need to fix it and it might be cool. This is just some junk cables, just random stuff I need to work on. That's just junk taxes right there on top. Cool. Let's see, I'll just start going down here. I didn't really clean up, so you get the actual experience here. This is a little Hohner Pianette that I have. I've used it somewhat, you know, haven't used it a ton, but it's there. It's kind of like a Rhodes, but it packs up. It's very heavy, even with it being this small. It's pretty cool though. And then, you know, this was my APC40 controller for Ableton sitting on top of it. And some needle nose pliers for some reason. Cool. You might be wondering why this is in here. This is like a construction light, and I've been using it to light some of my videos, but also, since it's getting colder and I don't want to use this heater yet, which is runs off propane and it's insanely expensive, this lights and heats the room a little bit. So, you know, electric bill's going up, but whatever. So that's this messy corner and this and whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna start over here, I guess. We got the unused pedal section over here. I know people were asking to see everything that's here. This is a really old phaser that I've been meaning to get fixed. I bought it a long time ago and it sounds great. I just need to get the switch fixed. It's a sick pedal. But yeah, these are all things that I like and don't want to sell. So let's see, we've got this is a Keeley modded tube screamer. This is a Friday Club Fuzz. This is the guy who does Jack DeVille and stuff. I bought that a while ago. I love the Disaster Transport there, Rainbow Machine, of course. So the reason I have some stuff like this, okay, so this pedal, this equalizer, this guy, DE7, and there should be like a DD6 somewhere. What the heck? Oh, it's right here. These 3 pedals I bought because they are staples of, well, actually the Moog too. Just bought that recently. There are staples on a Mark Engels pedal board from Dredge and Black Map, and he is my favorite. So anytime I see a pedal that he uses, I just buy it, and they're not worth much aside from the Moog. So they're just here, and they're cool and whatever. So this fuzz rules from Earthquaker. EP booster, keeping the Micropog just cause it's just too good of a pedal to get rid of. This is a 90s Memory Man, I think. Got the attached cord. Got a sticker on the front there. I would like to get this sent in somewhere to get not fixed. It works, but it's a little noisy, and I think it could be tuned up a little bit. This is that DPC controller, DPC-8 from Disaster Area, which is a great MIDI looper thing. This is a really old Super Hard-On clone that I bought, I don't know, a long time ago, 7 years ago, something, I don't know. And then a little synth, that thing. Under here, got more stuff. This is an LM308 Rat. Can't get rid of the carbon copy, it's too good. Let's see. Afterneath is a pedal that I haven't found a use for yet, but it's unique enough that I'm keeping it around until that time happens. I got some tubes in a Crown Royal bag. This Goodrich volume pedal still works, even though I don't use it. This MVP is broken and is sitting there until I fix it. Echo Park is a great pedal I will never get rid of. Charlie Foxtrot, this is just like a random glitch sample pedal. That's very cool. I use it in an Archibald song pretty prominently, but other than that, I haven't really used it. This one is super special. I think there were only 50 of these made. Yeah, very weird delay pedal from Small Sound Big Sound, and the serial numbers on the inside. Anyway, Spatial Delivery, another one that is cool that hasn't really gotten any use from me yet. I just really wanted to have a filter thing like this around. This, one of my favorite delay pedals, but it's been like broken for years. The modulation section stopped working on this, and it's probably my favorite modulation on a digital pedal. Anyway, and then we got a Flint hiding back there, and then this Blackout Effectors fuzz. This is a really old one, like first time they did it. So that's the pedals. SFT is a great pedal too, for a amp kind of distortion thing. Really cool. And the Fat Fuzz Factory. I like it on bass. So that's that. We got beef jerky down here when I'm hungry, and a printer. So moving over, let's see, monitors. Dynaudio LYD8s. I found that putting them way back in the corner like this sounded better. I was getting more accurate bass response. And in my sitting position, it might seem like I can't hear it. I don't know this is, but as I move closer, the speakers are not blocked by the monitors and stuff. So, all right, let's look at the desk. This is the output platform desk, the walnut one with the keyboard tray. So I've got my Axiom Pro under here and a bunch of incense to burn when I want to. And yeah, so then we've got the two Apollo interfaces here. So the top one is an 8, so I've got 4 built-in preamps and then 4 line-ins for an additional 4 preamps. This one down here is the 8P, so it is just 8 Apollo preamps. So let's see, 12 Apollo preamps and then 4 line-ins for other preamps, which I'll show you in a second. That pedal is here because I used it to hold the camera while I filmed the first part of this video. These are good at holding phones. So we got power, we got a shelf there. Preamps. So these 4 are going into the the Apollo 8. So we've got, I'm trying to remember the order. Okay, so it's this first. So inputs 5 and 6 on the Apollo are these two Focusrite ISA preamps. So we've got obviously 1 and 2. Pretty standard transformer preamp. I like them. And then we've got the big boy, the 6176, coming in after that. So preamp, tube preamp, EQ, a little bit EQ, and then some compression here. It's basically an 1176, which you can split or join and use the preamp and compressor separately or together. I usually just do it together. Even if you just do 1-to-1, so it's not going to compress at all, but you're going to get some tonal differences there, just sending it through the compressor. So hardware preamp number 3, and then number 4 is this Golden Age Pre 73, which is a Neve 1073 clone, kind of cheap-ish, but sounds good, and it fills out my preamp selection. So obviously the interfaces are daisy-chained together with Thunderbolts, and then everything. This is the software. I usually try to keep the UAD software, the console, up on this right TV screen. And then, you know, the Logic session there. This is an original little painting by the bassist from Dredge, Drew, and it rocks, and I like looking at it there. Let's look at the back. It's going to be very messy, but we got some hard drives. The other thing, too, is that when I bought the UA interfaces, I did them both on Black Friday, which means I got these satellites for free with it. So one of them is a quad and one is an octo, and they're just daisy chained in with the other ones. So, you know, could use some cleanup back here, but whatever. Oh, there's an Xbox over there too for when I want to zone out and not do music stuff. Okay. So we've got all the cabling here. Let's talk about this patch bay. So this is where everything comes in from the other room, or I send stuff to it. So you see it's a 4x6 panel there. The first 3 rows are all XLR coming back from the room, so I can get 16 inputs on the interfaces. There's 18 here, so there's 2 that are unused right now. Obviously they're labeled. I'm using 3 and 4 right here because I'm coming in a DI from my pedal board right now. So stereo in to stereo XLR. But the cool thing is the bottom row is all stuff sending to the other room. So we've got 2 speaker cables. Right now I have the 5150 head and the Clubman going into speaker 1 and 2, and then I've got 2 instrument cables, so I can actually pipe, you know, my pedal board through the wall into a combo for the amps that are just combos. And then the last 2 here on the side are mixes coming out of the Apollo. So there's 2 mixes going through, and they are actually coming out right here. So these bottom 2 headphone outputs are going to that wall panel. And then these 2 mixes are for me in here. If I ever am just monitoring or recording stuff in here, actually. And this is nice because, you know, I could use the line outs on the back of this, but this gives me overall volume level for that mix. So I can control that for them without a separate unit. Okay, so let's talk about the freaking Tower of Power here. So I recently kind of upgraded this setup. This is the brains of it now. So we've got the nice power supply, the Furman P1800 PFR. So it's obviously powering all the 4 heads here, and this splitter thing, and I've got it powering my board too. So I'm just trying to get as clean of power as I can to these things here. And the way this works is, so this guy, the JD7, I can plug my guitar in. So say if I wasn't doing this, I'm going direct in here with my guitar, or guitar pedal board into here, And then for this input, I can turn on any and all amps I want. So right now, if I was playing, that would be sending to all 4 heads that are here. So the way it works is, one is, I suppose I could label these. One is the 5150, it just goes top down. 2 is the Clubman, okay, and then 3 is the JMP. This is the 79 JMP, and then 4 is the JCM 800 down there, the 81. So, and then the last 2 are actually piping out to those instrument inputs I showed you on the wall. So this way I could send it to 6 amps all at once if I wanted to, which is cool for obviously double recording 2 amps at the same time, or just auditioning stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, that gives me a lot of power here and flexibility to route stuff. Obviously, it can't do stereo. That's, you know, this thing is all mono, but 90% of the time that's totally fine. You know, we got it in a nice rack case there. So, oh yeah, and so I mean, obviously, all these little instrument cables are coming out into the inputs of all the amps, so I don't have to mess with that at all. Anytime I can save plugging things in and whatever, that's good. Okay, so I believe that's all the interesting stuff in. Oh no, let's go over here. What am I doing? There's all this stuff here. Okay, so this is just my 2 analog synths, classic musician's friend thing that came. So this is kind of the station. This would be to my right as I'm working. And what I have set up in the back of the desk is a MIDI output. Let me see if it's set up. So we've got, yep, it's right here. So this MIDI man, because the Apollos don't have MIDI out, which sucks, but this is just a USB MIDI interface. So out A right here is actually going over to here. So it's inputting on the Behringer, this guy, the Model D. This is a Mini Moog clone. So we're coming in here, and then we're going out, and which that's going into the back of this Mini-Log here. Or it would be if it was plugged in, but it's not. So the reason for that is from Logic, I can create an external instrument track, and this is set up on channel 2, and this is set up on channel 1. So I can just change the channel I'm sending to and audition both the synths at the same time, and I can just play it and sequence it from this keyboard actually, and or just draw in parts or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously I've got the reamp box here, not that it always sits here, but I do have an extra pedal power here in case I want to pipe these synths through some pedals. Got the Polymoon for now. Might get rid of that pedal, I don't know. Haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but it is a cool pedal. Oh, and there's a little sequencer that I've been messing with for the mostly for this guy, you know, like messing with the cutoff and all that stuff. Over here, this is a newish bass for me. I traded in like 3 basses to get this guy. It's an American jazz bass with some DiMarzios in there. And I love the finish, and it feels very, very nice. Got the baritone there, the Eastwood. This is an old, not old, I don't use it much, but it's not worth much. It's a first act guitar with a P90 neck and humbucker bridge. Sounds pretty cool, and it feels really good. That was mostly why I bought it. It was like $200. It just felt really good to play. We got the banjo, which a lot of people are annoyed about. I hope I'll never use it again, but I probably will. And then we've got this guy. This is the J45. I believe it's a 1969 for real. I love this acoustic because the neck feels like an electric, and with my smallish hands, feels good to play. So, other than the guitars here, I think that's it in this room. So we've got the Nystrom Jazzmaster. We've got the Tele Deluxe. This serial number says it's a 78, but it's not. It's actually an 81 if you open up the neck heel and look at the date there, but it's still a legit Tele Deluxe. This is just a 2012 American Standard Tele. It has the custom shop pickups in it, and it's got the scoop there, which I like. And then obviously next to it is the old Faithful there, the old number 1, and then this is a guitar my dad bought me in 2004, a Texas Special Strat, which I love still. I used it a lot on the Migratory Patterns EP. So, that's all that. Let's go in the other room now. So, you'll see here, there are 2 doors, and that's because this is a double wall here. And, I mean, obviously that's for acoustic reasons to keep transference from this room into here, but it was also kind of necessary because, I mean, this is just a warehouse building, and there are actually poles holding up the ceiling in the middle of this wall that we couldn't take out, which is totally fine, so we just built the wall here around them. So, pretty cool. This is the live room now, and so obviously other side of the patch cable here, I got it labeled with the different preamps and stuff. Yeah, so the headphone mixes come out here, speaker cables here, instrument cables there on the bottom, and so I can go, obviously the 2 speaker cables right now are plugged into the Marshall and the Bogner cab. The Marshall here is the original one that goes with the JMP, which is awesome, and this other Marshall cab is the original one that goes with the 800, sorry. And then this is a somewhat recent purchase. This is a, I'm trying to remember, 77 JMP 50 watt combo. So it sounds, you know, it's open back, so it sounds similar but different to the other heads, obviously. So I purchased that mainly in case I wanted to play out with Archibald or something. That hasn't happened, but, you know, it's here, and it's cool, and it's old. And this is the Twin Reverb. I bought this from my old guitar teacher years and years ago. It is actually a 65, but it has been, the speakers were taken out when it was bought, and the guy put a 15-inch in it. So he was actually a pedal steel player, and those guys love 15s, so he took the 12s out and put a 15 in. So let's see here, turning it around. Yeah, so this is an old JBL D140F speaker, and yeah, super cool amp. Buck Carney, and it says "and the Country 4" back there. That's who had it first. And then the matchless stuff, of course. I'm not putting this back. Got the cab, which can obviously come through the wall from the head, and then obviously the Chieftain is a combo, so we got to send the instrument cable through. All right. So we do have acoustic treatment in here. I wanted to leave it as live as possible, but the more I've used this room, the more I realize I think it just needs to be deader. There's some unpleasant frequencies that happen, especially with drums and louder stuff. Oh, kids. So the ceiling panels are somewhat new in here. I got these from a guy I met up in Santa Fe for a good deal. And instead of framing them, I mean, they already come with a some burlap on the one front side, so I just figured I could leave it. I did frame these, obviously, and it's the same panels that are behind the desk there. So yeah, the ceiling ones make a huge difference, especially with drums. Really tightens up the room. And then these are that same Safe and Sound stuff. They're just basically 2 panels stacked. So I suppose I could show you one that has better lighting around it. But yeah, it's just one whole unit for two pieces of insulation there. And there's still more here, obviously, that I need to... Whoa! This just fell over. Yeah, and they're just sitting here, so I can take them out if I want to. But I haven't really. This is the new-ish... it's called an Electrovibe Deegan from the 70s. It's cool because you've got electronics in it. Even reverb and tremolo, which is awesome. The electronics, I mean, this is taken apart because it's real finicky. The electronics aren't working quite right. I want to get it fixed up before I really use it. All right, let's find mics. I tend to leave stuff set up. I was experimenting with these Neumanns as room mics. These are KM184 small diaphragm condensers, and obviously this is a, I guess you call it Bloomline setup. So they're always going to be in phase when you do it kind of at 90 degrees like that. And then over here, I think this is set up for some scratch vocal tracking. This is a Shure KSM 44. I don't know exactly what this mic is modeled after, but it sounds nice. This is outside here. Kind of nice out there. That's the National Forest back there. Very nice. All right, this is going on a while. I apologize if this is insanely boring. I hope it's not. Obviously, just got a 57. I think I've got 3 57s lying around here somewhere. SM7B, used it for the podcast and also for vocals every once in a while. Got a Royer 121 just kind of hanging out over here. I need to get it fixed up. It's not working right. These mics are my newest purchase. So this is the 414 clone from Advanced Audio. It doesn't look too fancy, but it sounds great. I've been using these for drum overheads and actually used it to record a little bit of that vibraphone tune. It's just super natural and clear sounding. So a lot of people don't see these as exciting, but they just reproduce the sound very well. They're used for overheads a lot, and that's mostly why I got them. I got a pair. There's another one over there. And then, let's see. I bought this mic recently, the SE Electronics X1D. Mostly as a kick drum mic, an out mic. It really gets those lows nicely. And then, looks like I was messing with a D6, Audix D6 in there for a more aggressive metal sounding kick, but then I also have the Beta 52A, the classic thing. This one, the mid-range is really good, but the highs and lows are not as nice to me, to my ear. And then right here we've got the MD421, which I use on, I typically use this guy on a rack tom, and then I've got another D6 that I use on floor toms. I like the way that sounds on floor toms as well. This is not my drum kit, obviously. This is Jacob Fox from Archibald. I couldn't tell you much about this stuff. He's the master of the drums. So, let me see. So this is just some more junk. We've got an old Gretsch drum kit. Again, that's Jacob's. And other drum kit pieces. Here's another D6. This is just storage stuff up here, obviously. And then I do have my sort of live rig set up-ish down here. This is the Behringer XR18 mixer that you can control with an iPad. We got wireless in-ear monitor there, and then a wired headphone amp there in case that goes down. And then these QSC K12 speakers, which sound amazing. And a pair of those, obviously. Is that it? I mean, that's the whole thing for the most part. it's just the 2 rooms, patch panel between the walls. Yeah, the patch panel is what makes the huge difference. Being able to set up all this junk in here and close these doors. It does a really good job of isolating the sound between the 2 rooms. It's funny because these aren't the greatest doors here, and they're the same doors that go to the outside, and you know, that's where we came from. But so it'll be really loud in the garage on the other side of this door, but from where I'm monitoring and sitting, it is very, very quiet. So that works out very well. Man, I think that might be it. We got original Archibald artwork up there. Yeah, and that for an overview, I mean, that's these are the things that are in here and sort of how I use them. So, if you have any other questions, if there's stuff that you're yelling at me that you'd wish you'd see a certain thing, or I'm missing something because I'm brain dead, let me know. I can do another one here. This is already 30 minutes in my hand, so don't want to do too much more, but yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. You guys know the pedal board. Yeah. Here, we'll end on the pedal board. Just take a look. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys. Again, let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Here's a few seconds of a song I'm working on. Let's put it like this. Oh, it's muted. Oh, the speaker's turned off. Give them a second, they'll turn on. Ready? There it goes.